everyone. Chill Girl Chrissy here, Alderman in Ward 6. Here to fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. We're going to open up, share, be real, be raw, overcome, let go, and grow together. And we are always going to deliver our opinions and facts. And I am with Rocco, once again, legend in Manchester.
I'm actually chill boy Rocco this morning. Okay.
And we're going to be getting things off our chest, which is so awesome. And it was so funny because I reconnected with my good friend Rob Kamen, who we grew up together. And he's like, you know my friend Rocco, you know we used to play in a band. And I'm like, no, I didn't know. And then I said something to Rocco right this moment. Can you go to that page?
Oh, yeah.
This is what I love about Manchester. This is why I'm running for mayor, is the connections, caring people that are standing up and making a difference in our community. Look at these guys. Are they the coolest? Oh my gosh. All right, so, because music heals, food heals, and the truth heals, and facts matter. And we need to stand up against the insanity. So I had you on last time with your good friend Eric, who is part owner of Fit Lab, and you have this amazing program that I actually have been doing.
The RAMP program.
Yes.
Yes.
And my goal was, I just wanted to get stronger. So, not that, I mean, I think everyone knows you, but do you want to give a little bit of your background, Rocco?
No, everybody already knows me. I am an exercise physiologist by degree. Yeah. I am a 5-time world powerlifting champion, broke 13 world records.
That's insane.
Been alive forever since the dinosaurs. I sometimes do
forever
this like a T-Rex,
young.
you know. No, but I think I've been a part of this community for such a long, long time, and been, always active. Have lots of friends. Some are not even with us today, which goes
sad.
to show you how old I am. Some of my friends
Are you old as dust?
Well, something that Rob came and actually said this quote to me a long time ago. He goes, "You're not as old as the hills, but you remember when they were new." That's a Rob Kamen quote, okay?
Quoted by Rob Kamen.
I was always a decade older than the rest of the guys in the band.
Okay.
That's why I was always picked on as the old man. So, but hey, it's only rock and roll.
Older, wiser.
Right? Rock and roll has no age.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. So let's get down to, you just wrote an article. I didn't get to finish reading it. I just want to thank you for coming on and for everything you do. I started with your program with you and Jillian back in September. And my goal was, I just wanted to get stronger. And what I love about my company, Chill Spa, is we are just all about sharing advice. What works for one person might not work for another person, but we always have great books in our chill zone. So Strong is the New Pretty. I've had this book in our chill zone, which you guys have come to before, since the beginning, because it's really about being strong, mind, body, and soul. And recently, I've had hijacked, how Dr. Martin Luther King's dream has been hijacked. We should not be judging each other by the color of our skin, but by our character. There's just so many great books. And yours has entered the chill zone. So we're going to get a lot of things off of our chest. First of all, I love the title. It's so the big fat truth about your health and how to fix it. So for me, I can't say the word diet or I want to eat everything, salty, sweet, everything. What I loved is you met me where I was at. You and Jillian went to the gym, showed me my routine, and I actually do need to do a check-in so I can next level. But I feel so much stronger and I feel better. My choices are better. And there's some things that, whether you want to call it trigger words, like I just don't want to say the word diet. So it's just like, all right, this is what I should be doing and this is what I shouldn't be doing, and life in moderation, right? Except let's get the poisons out of our food.
Well, I think that starts with the Maha movement is doing that.
Yeah.
And so we can commend them for that.
Yeah.
I just started a new movement, and it's called the Masa movement,
Okay.
which is also a place for sushi here in Manchester.
Yes,
That's right.
delicious. Love masa.
Shout out to
And
Jimmy.
Yuki. I love all the delicious
But Make
food.
America Strong Again is our initiative to help people understand how important it is to be strong.
Yep.
Muscles are your greatest metabolic dump. That means that the foods that we eat, so when you're talking about diet, okay?
Yeah. Oh, I hate that word.
People who have a lot of muscle don't worry about diet. You know why? Because they have the machinery in order to even get rid of the bad foods. So I'm not telling I am not telling people to go out and eat bad food, but what I'm
Right.
saying is that
It metabolizes better?
more, not
More.
well, efficiently more, but the more muscle you have, for every pound of muscle you have on your body, you're going to burn somewhere around 15 calories per day for that pound, right? Pound of fat typically burns about 2 to 3 calories, so it's not metabolically efficient. So if you have a lot of fat, you don't have a lot of metabolism, but if you have a lot of muscle, you do.
So the more muscle you have, the more efficient your body is, and that's what we want to bring is
Think of it this way,
efficiency.
mathematically, if
Yeah.
you had 100 pounds of muscle, and each pound is about 15 calories, right? So when you measured your metabolism, so if you went in and they actually put a mask on you and they measured what your calories were, somewhere around 1,500 calories would be your daily expenditure. Can you see the math in that?
Yep.
So that's how we kind of figure how much a person needs to eat or not eat in order to be able to achieve a certain outcome, right? So if I want to be, 250 pounds, obviously I have to eat like a 250-pound person would eat. What is involved in that caloric intake versus somebody who's trying to go from 160 to 130 pounds? Then I have to look at that and say, how do we move that person down
Yep.
to where they would actually weigh 130 pounds without sacrificing the proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, but getting it just right so they get there over time. And it could be, on average, a pound and a half a week, and people are always thinking that it's more than that. They think that if they join the gym and 2 weeks later they're going to all of a sudden be
Melt off like 10 pounds.
That mindset is just so flawed because that's not true. It's just not true. So
Slow and steady.
At the end of the day, it's about empowering people to understand it's slow and steady, but see, it's not really about the weight losses as much as the muscle gain. If people went to the gym and said, I'm going to focus on gaining 5 pounds of muscle, guess what? They'd lose a ton of fat. But instead they go there and they say, I'm not going to eat anything, and I'm going to work
And
out
we're
really,
starving
really
our
hard,
body.
and that does not work.
It does opposite.
And that's why, this Make America Strong Again initiative is important because they left out the biggest solution to the problem. So I watched that whole thing with, RFK Jr. and Trump and everybody talking about how they're going to do all these great things, okay, taking, chemicals out of the food. Fine. They've been in there for a long time, but people are addicted to the chemicals in the food. So even if you take them out, they're going to go eat the foods that still have the chemicals in them. They are. I'm sorry, but that's just the way that it is.
Yeah.
People aren't going to say, well, I'm going to stop eating donuts. God, I can't even stop my mom from eating donuts every morning, okay? She has
I love a
two
great
little
donut.
See, look at you're part of the problem, right?
Totally. Especially the cronuts. But
What the hell is a cronut?
oh my God, it is like unbelievable. There's this great bakery on Kelly Street that makes the best cronuts. All right, I haven't tried everywhere,
We're really
but I
getting
will
off
do a
course here.
shout
We're not
out.
making America strong here.
Sorry. How about at least healthy ingredients? But
Yes,
like
I
in
mean,
moderation.
everything does make
Yeah.
a difference, and I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference that we can make with this Make America Healthy is to get people to go to gyms where gyms are trained to be able to address this problem, okay? See, I think I squawked about this on the last show that every gym out there has its own, and I'm going to call it a very vague way of being able to help people. And for the reasons we created the ramp system, so that if you go to a gym now, if you look statistically what happens in a gym right now, there are 60 million people who are members of fitness centers in this country out of 330 million, right? We have 70% percent of that 330 million people who are deconditioned very badly. Okay, I don't have to tell you that. Just walk outside the door and take a look around. That tells the tale all in itself. So when you take a look at what the problem is, the administration doesn't even recognize that there's a problem with people who are under-muscled. People who are under-muscled are always unhealthy, 100% of the time. Where do you get muscles? You get muscles at a gym. You don't get muscles at home. People don't get up in the morning, aside from a very select few, to get up and do push-ups and sit-ups and squats and all this stuff. That's done at a gym, and done correctly by a good certified trainer is what makes the difference, okay? How do we make that more accessible? I mean, this FIT Act, and I don't know if you know what the FIT Act is.
No,
but
I
the
don't.
FIT Act is our lobbyists in the fitness industry, which is, it was called IRSA, now it's called the Health and Fitness Association. We have our own lobbyists that go to Washington to try to get some things passed for our industry, but our industry really doesn't have the power that the pharmaceutical community does by a long shot, okay? We can't push the button like they can because we don't have the money. The problem for us is how do we get some of these things passed? Now, they want to pass it so that you can pay for your gym membership with pre-tax dollars. Big deal. Even if that's the case, and you can have a massage done the same way, where are you going to have? You're going to have a massage for pre-tax dollars, or you're going to have your gym? Which one are you going to go for? Which one's easier?
Well, yeah.
Right? You know, people are going to say, well, I'm going to have, chiropractic adjustment. I'm going to have these other things. They're going to take most of those perks first before they're going to go to the gym because, unfortunately,
I see where you're coming from.
Unfortunately, getting in shape is work. I hate to tell you, but it is work. And you have to be able to pay the price for that work.
I will say, I have to interrupt you because when I started your program, I'm like, okay, I can actually commit to 3 days a week. Is it like 40, 45 minutes? Where before I thought it would have to be like every single day. But even Eric from FitLab is like, no, he's been sharing your program, RAMP, for how long? And he's like, all right, we're diving in because we're seeing great results. So it's your scientific way. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's like a certain routine, 3 days a week, and people are seeing results. So that's why people are jumping on your program. So I feel like it's not that hard. We just have to commit. I think sometimes it's, I have like excuse. Oh, I'm too busy. I'm this. And then I'm like, when you broke it down for me, I'm like, okay, I need to get stronger. Definitely. When I realized I needed to get stronger was when I went to pick up my luggage and it was like, to get it into the overhead compartment of the airline and airplane. I was like, okay, I am getting weak. This is not good. So that was my wake-up call. And with that, I was like, and when I met with you guys, I'm like, 3 days a week, I can commit to that. So it's not really that hard once you commit. I think if you're saying, all right, you have to do this 7 days a week, that's way more harder.
It's not what you do in the gym that matters.
What do you?
Because you're only going to spend. The whole idea is when you're trying to build a muscular body, and I'm one of the best at doing that. Okay.
Yeah,
I've been doing it for probably.
How old are you?
I just turned 67.
Wow.
Okay.
And you're jacked.
And if you look at me, I'm still pretty jacked for my age, and the reason why.
And you had a back surgery.
I did, and I recovered like that, right?
Yeah.
Those things don't happen when you're not healthy.
Right.
So I trained to get to that surgery, and I trained, and I probably shouldn't say this because in case my doctors are listening, they told me 6 weeks after my surgery I could go back to the gym. Well, I got out of the hospital on Saturday. On Monday, I was in the gym, and I had a big belt strap on a support system, and I walked in that gym, hobbled probably, and I found things that I could do to mentally not feel like I was losing a step. And guess what? I recovered way faster than they expected. And I'm not recommending anybody out there have surgery and go do that. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is for me.
For you, because you know your body.
I know my body, and I understand what it takes to become healthy. Even if you contract your hands like this, and that's an exercise, and because those are little smaller muscles, but they still release these little chemicals called myokines, and these little myokines are actually, they aid in healing people. And all of this research is just coming out right now, so just sitting home and like flexing all of your muscles. So if you have a desk job and you sit there and you flex your quads and you flex your calves and you flex your chest and your back, those little flexions or those
Sit
contractions,
up, core in.
those contractions will actually help you
Yeah.
release chemicals that keep you healthier. And that's without going to the gym. But the purpose of the gym is to build enough muscle so that because of the way that we live now, which is very sedentary, that we need to have this metabolic machinery. So as I'm sitting here right now, I burn more calories than you do.
Yeah.
I do.
I know, because you have more muscle.
Which means I could eat more donuts.
What a ripoff.
I don't, but that's
no,
the whole point.
It takes a while before we get it sometimes. Does that make sense?
I don't think
It
we've
needs
ever
to be,
gotten it.
No. But I'm starting to get it because I'm showing up to the gym.
Well, I think now this is what's happening is this, I guess, unveiling the curtain of like what's really happening here.
What's behind the curtain?
You know,
what have we been lied about?
Well, I don't know if there's been some lying, but I think the fitness industry, the reason why we haven't done anything in the fitness industry is because we opened up fitness centers to sell memberships, okay? And then it stopped there. See, our new philosophy is selling a membership isn't the end of the relationship, it's the beginning.
It's the beginning.
Right? So now that we have this person who's invested in us, we have to invest in them. And the only way that they're going to stay with us, if we're in a good relationship, if you want to love me forever, okay, is we got to be good to each other, right? That's not the way the fitness industry worked. It was like, we got the key tag, we got them for a year, good luck, okay?
Yeah.
That's the business model, and that's why we got what we deserved.
And that's not healthy.
No.
It's not healthy for anyone.
And the medical industry said, you know something, we're going to take those people who really should be in the gym, and we're going to give them a bunch of, antidepressants so they don't feel bad about how they feel or how they look, okay? Then when they get sick, we're going to start giving them drugs that are helping them with, metabolizing sugar, things like metformin, glucophage, insulin eventually, right? And then these people get caught up into this real metabolic conundrum that they can't get out of, right? And then now that you have all these chemicals and you go back to the gym, you feel like hell. And the reason why is because you're not healthy at that point. You have created so much inertia inside yourself that getting to move that is a struggle. So that's why you have to be strong again. You have to find your strength in order to be able to get out of that inertia so you can become in control of your life again and make the decisions that are necessary for you to be independent. And if you want to talk about Maha and the children, guess what? Who takes care of the children? The parents do. We need strong parents.
Strong parents.
We can make strong children.
We need parental rights.
Just a little bit of a hint to you guys that are all out there shaking hands and doing big deals in Washington. So that's the truth.
I see. So for me, I'm like, I've never been a no-vaxxer kind of girl. I've always been, listen to the doctor. Now I'm like, no, I'm not taking that COVID vaccine, So for me, it's like full circle, It's like health freedom. We should know what's in our foods. I definitely know that we're addicted to unhealthy things. But I do feel like it is full throttle. I think that you should just join the movement to make it even stronger, Rocco. Maha needs to pull you in for that element.
I think that,
which is so essential.
Without saying it without any arrogance, only with confidence, that I'd probably be the best person in the United States to handle that situation from the standpoint of how do we change the operations of the fitness industry and use the fitness industry as the metabolic rehabilitation or the therapy centers for all of these people, the 70%, or the 270 million, is it 270 million people, is that 70%? Somewhere around 270 million people who are overweight or obese that have all these health conditions, obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, muscle wasting, chronic pain, stress, depression, all of those things, right?
Heavy stuff.
When you go to the gym, when you leave the gym, Nobody
I
ever
feel
says,
great.
I feel crappy. They
Right.
say they feel good, right?
I
How do
feel
we
great.
keep getting them back there so that that high that they're getting
Yes.
continues to go on? And then when you do that exercise and you feel good, the thought that you have when you go to choose your food, guess what? Donuts don't come up. This is your first thought anymore.
I
okay?
will, I happen to agree.
Mom?
Yes. No, I've had my first ice cream in the longest time, was just recently. So yes, you do make better choices when you feel good. And there is that natural high that comes from leaving the gym, which is so empowering. So it's like you're the powerhouse that needs to build up all the muscles and for mind, body, and soul. And we make better decisions when we have a clear mind, a stronger body. You know, I say life in moderation, but you do. You naturally make better choices when you feel good inside and about yourself.
You do, and then when you are healthy, when you make that choice of having ice
Yeah.
cream or the donut or whatever it is, you enjoy it. And I'm not
I
gonna say-
enjoyed it. I got the crunchies and everything. I went to Creamland, brought me way back.
I like a butternut every once in a while
Yes.
myself, because I'm human now. You know,
Yeah.
I wasn't human before in the back of my competition days,
Yeah.
but I'm human now. But at the end of
Life
the
in
day,
moderation.
if you're healthy and you do make that choice, it's not devastating. If you're
Yeah.
already on the verge of having diabetes and having all these
Then
problems,
that's poison
it's,
to our
it
bodies.
is.
And that's
It
not
could be
good.
the straw that breaks the camel's back
Yeah.
for a lot of people, and I would highly, try to encourage people to, at this point, at least in the New Hampshire area, is to go to any one of the Fit Labs or any of the Integrity Health coaching centers that offer ramp. Valid Fitness down in Hudson also offers ramp. So if you're having an issue with, trying to lose weight,
Yeah.
but you fix it by gaining muscle.
Yeah. And I have a great time at the gym and I feel great. I do have to do another follow-up because it's been a long time, but I will say I'm grateful that I have been consistent and I've just made better choices and I just feel better. You know, when the stress is coming at you, you're like, oh, I'm actually chill. Which is so
We
important.
all have stress and we have to handle it.
Yeah.
But the
and how do
healthier
we
you
handle
are,
it? Get to the gym.
yeah.
Sign up. So you can go to, where's the best, how do we get in, how do we follow you? How do we get to know, how do we learn more?
Well, we have a Facebook page called Ramp by Gym Doctor that we
Okay.
post all of the people who have wanted to share their success with, and there
Yeah.
are literally thousands of people on that page, and every day it's being updated with new testimonials of people who have done their check-in that you'll be
Yes.
doing, right? So
Yeah.
when we do that check-in, we show them where they were on day one, and then we
Yeah.
show them where they were at the end of each program so that we can prove to them, look at the direction you're going to. It's kind of like a report card that keeps you in line to say, am I still
Yeah.
progressing forward so that we can make sure that, and we give a money back guarantee too. So it's 100% money back guarantee. So if you sign up for the program,
And how much is the program?
it can range anywhere from $50 to $65 per month.
Okay.
Not very expensive.
I mean, that's so affordable.
But you get a money back guarantee. So
Yeah.
the only caveat or the only thing that you have to do is you have to show up 3 times a week and actually do what's on the program. Not hard. It's built exactly for you so that on day one you feel perceptually like, yes, I can do this. And it builds
You can do
on
it.
day one, right? From day one to
Yeah.
week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4 and so on.
It is empowering too because every week you're like, oh my gosh, I'm getting stronger and I'm getting stronger and I feel better.
Because exercise has to be done in a progressive fashion. So in other words, you can't do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result. That's Einstein's.
That's called insanity.
Right? It's
I
insanity.
think that's what's happening.
But,
and that's
but
why I'm running
why
for
people who join
mayor.
the gym, you'll see people in the gym who've been there for years that look exactly the same
Yeah.
because they've done the same thing.
And we need to change things up. We need to be efficient for our mind, body, and soul. And we need to speak up.
We do.
Yeah, it's so important. Hey, I just know we have a couple minutes. Can you take a peek at this? This got distributed to the teachers and 8th graders. It's called the Wheel of Power and Privilege. I circled, pretty much you go in, figure out, where you are. All right, I have different shades of skin. I'm heterosexual, high school education. This is the Wheel of Power and Privilege. This is This has been dividing us up. This makes us feel less than. This is awful. This is unacceptable. This does not empower anyone. How do you empower yourself? Good choices and being surrounded by positive people that really care about you. And, you know, to teach this to children and to teach this to teachers and think that this is lifting up our students, no. If I'm poor, I don't need to be told I'm poor. This is body shaming. On here, the Wheel of Power, I actually circled a bunch of things. You know, body size. I didn't even circle anything. This is shaming, you know. Oh, well, you have power if you're slim. Listen, this is like
I don't know
insanity.
much about this, but I will tell you this: there's a rule on how you stay in power. It's called divide and conquer. This is
divide and conquer.
This is a divide and conquer. See, because this shows differentiation between people. So if you say, you know, I'm white and you're black, so that shows differences.
Yeah.
So that you're different, right?
Yeah.
The reality is that we need to focus on similarity.
Yes.
Like we're all human beings on one planet with two eyes, you know,
with good core
two
values.
two ears, one
Yes.
mouth, right?
Yes.
And one heart, right? Because what makes the most difference is your heart.
Yes.
Right?
True.
And we have to all be able to share the same philosophy that all of us have a heart. And all of us have feelings,
Yes.
and all of us are going to be different.
Yeah.
But the things
And
that
that's the
we
beauty
share in
of
common,
us. We're different.
yeah, the things that we share in common are that we're all human beings who have to live with each other. And if we're healthier, we'll live with each other a lot better.
Totally. We need to lift each other up, get stronger, get things off of our chest, and that's how you really create wellness and goodness for our community.
Make America strong
Again. Make Manchester strong again. Thank you so much, Rocco, for joining me. Until next time, stay chill, get strong, and love one another. And united we stand, and divided we fall.
Chill Rocco.